We like to spend a few minutes talking about prophecy, and so let's do that right now. We reserve a few minutes to discuss current trends that you'd expect from reading Bible prophecy. As I've told you, we are futurists, and that simply means that when we look at unfulfilled prophecy, we believe it's going to be fulfilled literally, globally, physically. It's really going to be fulfilled. It's not an analogy or an illustration. It's just like the prophecies in the Old Testament were literally fulfilled, so will the remaining 500 or so prophecies in the New Testament. In his prophetic sermon we call the Olivet Discourse, Jesus said the end times would be like it was in the days of Noah. Jesus specifically referenced the strange marriages in the days of Noah. So people talk about a lot of stuff that was going on in Noah's time, but nothing like this. In Genesis chapter 6, we're told that fallen angels were marrying and mating with human women. That's what the language says, and the more you study it, the more you realize that's what the language says. Their offspring were called Nephilim. They were a race of giants. These pairings were altering human DNA. They were hybrid creatures. Noah is described as a just man, perfect in his generations. Perfect does not mean sinless, of course. It means complete or whole. It's a word used of health and physical condition. Put together with generations, it's telling us that Noah had 100% human DNA. And his sons and their wives and his wife, they may not have been the last 8 people who had real DNA, but they certainly did. And so that way they could repopulate the world with human beings and not hybrid creatures. And so knowing all this, we would expect a trend towards the altering of human DNA, and we see that in the news, and it's becoming more frequent. Renowned evolutionary psychologist Gordon Gallup coined the term humanz, which refers to a human-chimp hybrid, a scientifically possible hybridization which was attempted throughout the 20th century. There's nothing new about it. Gallup also coined what he would call a human gorilla and a human orangutan hybrid, the horilla and the harangue. So what a group that would be. Horilla, harangue, humanz. Sounds like some kind of a song group, right? Like maybe a singing group? No, I guess not. A human chimpanzee hybrid was born in a Florida lab 100 years ago before being killed by panicked doctors. They inseminated a female chimpanzee with human semen from an undisclosed donor, and they claimed not only that the pregnancy occurred, but that it went to full term and resulted in a live birth. But in a matter of days or a few weeks, they began to consider the moral and ethical considerations, and the hybrid was euthanized. More to date, a part human, part monkey embryo was created in 2021 by scientists at the Salk Institute for Biological Studies in California with the hopes of using them to grow stem cells. Meanwhile, Chinese scientists also claim to have grown human-monkey hybrid embryos, which could be used to harvest transplant organs. Late last year, German and Japanese scientists also spliced human cells into monkey brains in an experiment similar to the hit movie series Planet of the Apes, which apparently they didn't watch to the end. The latest article I read was titled "The Secret Laboratory Project to Breed Man-Ape Humanz Super Soldiers." It reports there is a team working in a lab in China where, quote, there are fewer legal issues. I'll bet. Usually when they report on these things, they're much farther along than they really are. If it hasn't happened yet, it will. There will be a humanz at some point. And this is what we would expect reading Bible prophecy. Not a human chimp in particular, but altering of DNA to try and change what it means to be human. Now, we, of course, believe that the resurrection and rapture of the church are imminent. The Lord could come at any moment to raise the dead in Christ and then change living believers and give them their glorified bodies, taking us to heaven to be with him. And so what we try and remind each other each week is what's important, and that is, are you ready for the rapture? If not, get ready and stay ready and keep looking up, because ready or not, Jesus is coming.